States, well, we want to make sure your car does not leave you stranded on these cold mornings. Come let us check your vehicle out with a complimentary service check. Randy Marion Chevrolet Estates or Randy Marion Ford Lincoln, we'll check it out to make sure that car will start on these cold mornings and get you to where you need to be. Come see us today. Make sure you're tip-top ready to go. 2024 has started off cold. Let's make sure you are ready to go.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
All right, everyone. Hello. Welcome. You are listening to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. 844-788-3464. It gets you right here into the studio, onto the Scoreboard. We will talk about any sports you'd like. Local, regional, national, high school, college, pros. That's pretty much what we do here. And we take calls from you. And like I said, 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number if you have something you'd like to talk about today. We have a lot going on in the world of sports, as we always do at the end of February. You might think, what do you mean? There's nothing going on anymore. It's the end of February. The Super Bowl's over. There's no more football. Yeah, that just means that every other sport is picking up steam, and we are heading right towards playoff basketball in high school, March Madness. Soon the NBA is going to be in the playoffs, the NHL playoffs, baseball games today, in spring training, in high school. There's a lot going on. And there's always a little bit of news that we need to cover to keep you informed and up to date on what's going on in the world of sports. And like I said, we cover as much as we can in the hour that we have. So we have a lot on store for today. Like I said, we're going to cover everything that's coming up in the high school world, including basketball games today. That's conference tournament basketball games today. Also, a few scrimmages in the baseball world in high school, so we'll make sure you know who's playing. We had some college basketball last night, a lot of ranked schools playing, and a few other local-ish, North Carolina-centered-ish schools in action last night. We'll have some of that for you. And as always, we have hockey as the Carolina Hurricanes have a game tonight against the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year, sweeping them in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Florida Panthers. I think it's kind of comical that the Panthers knocked Carolina out of the playoffs. You know, just a little weird irony, I guess, there. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm just making things up as I go along. Kind of how I do the show. Anyway, high school basketball. And we have conference tournaments going on. We're close to playoffs, state playoffs, playing for a state championship. But before then, we got to get through these tournaments, get these rankings, and see who is going to stack up in the playoff tournament. Statesville High School has been doing good. Mooresville High School has been doing good. And Lake Norman. Those are the three schools in the area that are still playing games for the conference tournament. Now, I don't think South Iredell and West Iredell, obviously, those two aren't going to get into the playoffs, only winning 2 games each on the year. I'm not sure about North Iredell. I guess we're going to have to wait. I don't know the specifics on how seeding works and how many teams get in specifically. I just know that you got to win, right? And we cover the games and keep you updated. So tonight, starting the same way we always do down in the Lake Norman area, Mooresville, the Blue Devils, take on Hickory Ridge on the road. I believe that game is actually underway or it may have already finished. I remember it being an early tip-off for a Thursday, and I thought that was kind of weird. But according to Max Preps, you can report a score if you know. Report it here, right here on the Scoreboard. Let's break the news who won in that game. Mooresville on the road against Hickory Ridge. Lake Norman, 22-2. They lost to Lake Norman on the last game of the season, of the regular season. But they had a bye into the next round of the conference tournament. They take on Cox Mill at home tonight. That game tips off a little bit later, 7:30 start there. And like I said, Statesville High School, they've been doing really good pretty much ever since the head coach, Coach Nesbitt over there, joined us on the scoreboard. Yeah, I'm taking credit for this run. Absolutely. It's all right here on the back of the scoreboard. You know, we cursed so many teams in the past. We got to have one that we didn't, and I believe that's Statesville because they're playing today. They're still in their conference tournament. They take on North Lincoln at home tonight at 7:30. Now, I told you that we have basketball coming up, or baseball coming up soon. We do have basketball coming up also. There's one more conference tournament game before next week we get into state playoffs. Anyway, North Iredell has a baseball game today. They had a scrimmage at 4:30 against Starmount. It is February 22nd. It's actually kind of nice out there today, though. I will say it does kind of feel like baseball weather, but I just think it's a little early, in my opinion, to start playing baseball because it's going to get cold again before we actually get to spring. But nonetheless, North Iredell starting off their season today with a scrimmage against Starmount. That one went live first pitch at 4:30. Also today, a scrimmage for Mooresville. That was also a 4:30 start against North Lincoln. I think it's insane. You know, there's so many teams that are playing baseball right now, and the first games of the season are coming up on Monday. Like the start of the regular season for high school baseball is this coming Monday. Now, there's only one team in the area that has a game coming up this coming Monday, which we can get to a little bit later, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys all here listening to the scoreboard are aware baseball is here. You can't avoid it. I know it boggles my mind too. I don't know how it happens. But all these teams, we're going to be covering them, as well as, like I said, lacrosse is going to start, tennis is going to start, track and field. Now, we may not have time to get to all of those sports every single day, but as I always say, if you, the listener, know someone or are someone who participates in high school sports, knows somebody in high school sports, wants to shout out a team, a player, call in 844-STUDIO-4, give them a shout out, and we will absolutely talk about what's going on in their games. 844-STUDIO-4, like I said, gets you right here into the studio. Coming up on our first commercial break of the day. When we return, we're going to get into some college basketball. And then also in the second segment, I like to do some news. We have one pretty big news story that broke today. A little bit later, this actually, it's crazy that it's happening in late February, but we have an NFL story, a big one. So we'll have that for you on the other side of the break. Call me up, 844-788-3464 if you'd like to talk. Otherwise, stay right here, tuned into the scoreboard. We're not going anywhere. We're back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the clouds continue to thicken up as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures only dip down to around 50 overnight, but we do have our rain chances going up with scattered rain likely through the overnight hours and into the first part of the day on Friday. Friday, though, still comfortable temperature-wise in the low 60s, but that chilly weather starts to arrive as we get into the upcoming weekend. Scattered clouds and even a sprinkle or a shower to start the weekend on Saturday. Drier in 50s on Sunday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. MuralFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at muralfest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Downtown Mooresville's Shamrocks and Shenanigans is on its way. St. Patty's Day is right around the corner. The festival is happening in downtown Mooresville. Attendance is free, but there are ticket packages available for purchase. Irish dancers, pipe bands, food and drinks. March 16th, downtown Mooresville. Shamrocks and Shenanigans is on its way. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each gives you your chance to win. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Want to see a Tyrannosaurus Rex? How about a Triceratops? Dinosaur World Live is coming to Kane Center for the Arts Friday, March 29th. That's not the only fun family adventure coming to Kane Center for the Arts. Dinosaur World Live, Friday, March 29th. For tickets and to see the entire spring lineup, visit canearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Little Shavers Wood Shop and Building Supply is your one-stop source for winter electric and torpedo heaters, heat lamps, pine and cedar shavings, ice melt, and snow sleds. Plus year-round items including PPG paints and stains, tools for plumbing and heating, and automotive supplies. Over 55,000 warehouse products available. You'll find Little Shavers on Facebook and online at littleshavers.com. That's LILshavers.com.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Hey everyone, we are back here on the Scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Get you right here into our studios. Talk about whatever you have on your mind. We're going to get to college basketball because we had some games last night. We're going to talk a little bit about the bracketology right now and what the predicted ESPN brackets are looking like. Some local schools playing in some interesting areas. Couple of new schools getting in there. So it's going to be an interesting run to the end of the year. I can say that much. I'm going to be glued in seeing where everybody's positioning themselves. But we have some news out of the NFL. Actually, before we get to that, this is breaking news, really. Major League Baseball. Yeah, we have some breaking news out of Major League Baseball. The first preseason spring training game of the year has just gone final. The Dodgers beat the Padres 14-1. I hope this isn't an outlook on what the season's going to be like for everybody, because that's not good. 14-1. And I get it. It's spring training and all that. But the Dodgers heavily favored to win the World Series as of right now. that lineup is going to be lethal all year. They put up 8 runs in the first inning. 8 runs in the top of the first. Also, this is coming out of Major League Baseball. There is the potential of see-through pants to be growing on the list of complaints regarding new MLB uniforms. Okay, I didn't think this was a big story at first. Last week, baseball had changed, or people were talking about baseball changing the uniforms. And if you've ever bought a baseball jersey before, you know that they're kind of big. Well, not big, but they're heavier. You know, it's not like a basketball jersey or even to an extent football, depending on, you know, what kind you get. But they're big, they're thick, and you button them up, and they're like, you don't want to wear them to go play baseball because they're so heavy and bulky. Well, they're trying to change that because apparently the new jerseys are a lot more lightweight, and the players are not liking it. And now this report from today, earlier today, this is about 2 hours ago, players are saying that there's the potential for the pants to be see-through because the fabric is lighter. And why would you want to make the pants fabric lighter? Or, you know, I'm thinking of lighter meaning it's also going to be a little thinner. You're going to slide and dive. I'd like some protection on the knees, you know? It's just funny. It's just funny. And we talked about it last week. Rob Manfred, the MLB commissioner, he's done after the year 2029. Now, he's already made his mark in baseball. He's going to be remembered as the guy who added timed baseball games to the repertoire of what they're doing. Also, the pickoff move, which is okay, because I saw a clip the other day, and we're kind of getting off the rails here, but that doesn't really matter. I saw a clip the other day of, I don't even remember what the team was. I think it was the Reds and the Pirates, if I'm right. There were 27 consecutive pickoffs to first without throwing a ball to home plate. And the runner still stole second. He just threw an inning to first base. Now you can only do it twice if you do it. I'm sorry, I think it's once if you do it twice, because they shortened it. We'll have to get our MLB guy, Nick Dico, back on the air with us. We'll talk all the new rules and things you need to know in baseball, new players on new teams. People are still getting signed, and there are still really good free agents out there. I expect for at the end of spring training, some of these players to finally find a home because, you know, the older you get, the less you want to do, right? You got to save that body. Nobody wants to report to spring training. Give them a little bit longer of a vacation and then let them sign. They're going to make millions and millions of dollars anyway. So that's baseball. Anyway, getting to this story in the NFL, the Chiefs made a signing. They signed a punter today, and you might be thinking, why is that even a story? Well, because the punter is Matt Araiza. And if you know anything about Matt Araiza, he is nicknamed the Punt God. He was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. But in 2021, he was accused, and there was a lawsuit filed alleging the rape of a 17-year-old girl. That was then dropped. It was actually not something that happened. And now he goes to the Chiefs. And I'm not going to talk about the legality of all this because, like, that's not my show. I'll let somebody else talk about this. But once again, here we go. Chiefs beat the Bills. Oh, no, I said it. Oh, yep. Bills can't even keep their punter without losing him to the Chiefs. I don't know what else to say about that. This is a big story, though, because Araiza, with that nickname, Punt God, field position in the NFL is a lot more important than people think it is. As a matter of fact, if you watch the Super Bowl, you would probably be able to say, yeah, actually, that was the most important thing that happened in the game was change of possession, which set the Chiefs up for a short field. And I'm talking about the muffed punt. It was the only regulation touchdown Mahomes threw. Without that, maybe the 49ers win. But anyway, this is the story. The Chiefs signing Matt Ariza. And like I said, it is big because of the background and the things that happened before 2022, I guess, is kind of when this all came to light. Matt Ariza back in the NFL, dropped from the lawsuit. He played college at San Diego. He was a 6th-round pick, which, man, that's for a punter to be drafted in round number 6. And we've seen kickers get drafted that high, but not punters. Anyway, let's go over to the NCAA basketball and talk about what was going on in the league last night. So a lot of teams in action who are in the rankings from last night, including Duke. Duke, the 8th-ranked team in the country. Yeah, they beat Miami pretty good. Scored 40-plus in both halves and won the game 84-55. So Duke's on a roll, it seems like. They lost that game to North Carolina, and since then they haven't lost again. So Duke rolling a little bit here. The 12th-ranked team in the country, Illinois, falls to Penn State as Zach Hicks makes 3 free throws with 3 seconds left to lift Penn State past the number 12 ranked team, Illinois. 90-89. Man, those are tough. Those are really tough. Alabama, the 13th ranked team in the country. Last year we saw what they can do in basketball as they were a 1 seed. They were either a 1 or a 2 seed. Maybe it was 2 years ago they were a 1 seed. But we've seen them in the tournament. We've seen them and their basketball program get a lot better over the last few years. Well, this was a test for them last night. They played SEC rival Florida, 24th ranked team in the country. Alabama was able to prevail in overtime, 98-93. But Florida, man, holding their own. Probably going to make the tournament, in my opinion. And they might be somebody to look out for. 7th-ranked team in the country, Marquette, 105-71 victory against DePaul. Not really a tough one there. Cam Jones, leading scorer, 34 points on the night. So good night for them there. And upsets. Yeah, we had quite a few of them. Man, what is going on with Kentucky? Kentucky has not been good recently. Let's go back. Let's go back to their game against South Carolina. Okay? This was quite a few weeks ago. Kentucky lost that game 79-62. They kind of got blown out. And at the time, I don't remember if South Carolina, they weren't ranked at the time. Then they go back to beat Arkansas. But after that, it's been loss. So loss to South Carolina. And then win, loss, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss. And it doesn't get much easier for Kentucky. They got to play Alabama. They got to play Tennessee. Both of those teams currently ranked. And, games against SEC rivals, never going to be easy. There were a few more upsets, but we're running out of time in this segment. This will bleed over a little bit into segment number 3. We'll keep talking some college basketball. But once we wrap that up, we will get to NASCAR. Atlanta coming up. We got a driver to hear from. We'll probably hear from our Daytona 500 champion regarding Atlanta this weekend. And we'll see who else we can hear from. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Scoreboard. We're back right after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the clouds continue to thicken up as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures only dip down to around 50 overnight, but we do have Our rain chances going up with scattered rain likely through the overnight hours and into the first part of the day on Friday. Friday, though, still comfortable temperature-wise in the low 60s, but that chilly weather starts to arrive as we get into the upcoming weekend. Scattered clouds and even a sprinkle or a shower to start the weekend on Saturday. Drier in 50s on Sunday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Does your business provide coffee for employees or customers? Black Powder Coffee can supply you with fresh roasted coffee, a variety of daily signature blends including flavored coffees such as cinnamon roll and Kahlua and cream. We even have bourbon-infused coffee in collaboration with Southern Distilling Company. Visit blackpowdercoffee.com or stop by and see us at 261 Rolling Hill Road in Mooresville. Black Powder Coffee.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-218-6440. 800-218-6440. 800-2. If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. That's 800-508.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced. Call now. If the lines are busy, please call back.
Call the Home Warranty Hotline now at 800-826-9149. 800-826-9149. 800-826-9149. That's 800-826-9149.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Sales of previously owned homes rose by just over 3% last month. That was less than expected. Still, it was the biggest increase in nearly a year. The sales pace is still well below pre-pandemic levels. Meanwhile, the median price rose to just around $379,000 last month. That marks the 7th month of year-over-year price gains. Mortgage rates are up again for a third week in a row. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged 6.9% this week, up from under 6.8% last week. That's compared to 6.5% a year ago. And the latest snapshot of the labor picture indicates continued strength in the job market. First-time applications for unemployment benefits fell to the lowest level in a month last week, down by 12,000 to 201,000. Continuing claims also dropped from the week before. Stocks soared today on Wall Street after chipmaker NVIDIA's bullish outlook rekindled the artificial intelligence mania. The Dow added 457 points, the Nasdaq gained 461, the S&P rose 105. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
welcome back to the Scoreboard, second half of the program here for you today. 844 Studio 4. That's the phone number. Get you right here into the Statesville studio, live on the Scoreboard. Whatever you'd like to talk about, I got it right here for you. I'm here for you. Let's talk. Hash it out. Maybe we agree on something. Maybe we don't. Who knows? We were talking about the NCAA basketball coming up. Some upsets from last night. Yeah, some big ones talking about Kentucky. Man, they got to get it together. They lost to LSU, unranked LSU, that is. 75-74 at the buzzer. Tyrell Ward with the putback. What a play it was to get the Tigers the victory there. Also, New Mexico upset Colorado State, who, at the time, right now, is the number 22 ranked team in the country. And also, George Mason defeated Dayton. Yeah, you heard me right. George Mason beating Dayton 71-67. Also, when LSU beat Kentucky, the school got fined $100,000 for fans storming the court, per the policy of the SEC. You know, if they really cared, wouldn't they punish the people doing it? Like the school had nothing to do with it. The players had nothing to do with it. They just went out and won a game. What about the people who are doing it? Because they're not going to pay that $100,000 unless they just, raise the tuition to cover the cost, which, probably. Anyway, looking at the NCAA predicted bracket right now. Hey, App State sitting in the East Conference right now in the tournament. 22-5 on a 3-game win streak. They've only lost one of their last 10. But with only a few games left in the season, App State keep winning, and we could see them in the NCAA tournament in a few weeks. Also, they would be playing Auburn, which, oh boy, that would be interesting. Because App State beat Auburn way earlier in the year, 69-64. Also, North Carolina, talked about them as a potential 1 seed. Well, they've dropped. They are now the 2. I mean, they'd be projected to play Colgate College, so I think they'd be okay. Then they get the winner of Florida and Nevada. Whew. That's what I love about the NCAA tournament. It is going to be crazy. Also, Duke talked about them being on a little hot streak, local team, local school, 3 seed. They'd be playing Charleston. None of them would be here in Charlotte, unfortunately. It doesn't look like... actually, right now they got North Carolina in Charlotte for their game, which, that'd be cool to have a team from North Carolina playing at home, technically. The home state, if you will. Anyway, moving on from the NCAA, 844 Studio 4, that's the phone number. Call in, chat with me. We're talking NASCAR now, and, William Byron seemed to have been doing pretty good at Atlanta, at the new repaved Atlanta, that is. But he is a Daytona 500 champion now. Maybe he can get back-to-back wins at Atlanta, because things have clicked for him here recently, and here's what Byron has to say about that.
We've had a good combination of handling and speed. I feel like that track suits us because it does take some handling, and it takes some characteristics that not just a super speedway takes. So we've just been able to capitalize on that, and I feel like my spotter's really good at managing that racetrack. Things happen really fast, and he's able to process it all. So I think we've just done a good job, honestly, and it's a little bit easier to manage 2 wide versus 3 wide at a place like Talladega or Daytona.
And I could see him getting the win this weekend, and he's right. It's a little different than Daytona, Talladega, but he's not a Daytona 500 champion. And I just find it also kind of funny that he was talking about handling, yet on the backstretch of Daytona, he definitely wasn't handling well when he wrecked the entire field. I know, I'm joking. I know he didn't wreck the entire field on purpose, pushing, shoving, Daytona 500. I get it. It was a joke. Moving on Let's hear from Austin Cindric, right? We got a lot of Daytona 500 champions we're hearing from. Former Daytona 500 champion Austin Cindric on his confidence level heading into Atlanta.
We had two really good Atlanta races last year, both in the spring and in the summer. Obviously, that's a place that I feel like we had our heads wrapped around pretty well last year, not just from a qualifying speed standpoint, but from a raceability standpoint, leading laps in both, and felt like we had a really good shot to win the summer race. For me, curious to see if that translates over. Obviously, we have a lot of changes, coming into the new season with, kind of a new body kit and aero package there from a Ford perspective. But I think it'll be a great opportunity race for us, really. Early part of the season, Daytona and Atlanta, but also two races that could set you in a pretty big points hole very quickly.
And we heard the same thing about the points from Eric Jones yesterday. When we heard from him saying, you used to be able to just say, okay, it's Daytona. Week 2, let's go to Auto Club. Let's go to Old Atlanta. We'll be fine. We'll figure it out. We know we have a fast car. Run top 10, get some points. Can't do that anymore. It's the first 2 races. Now, this would be a lot more exciting, in my opinion, if we had a full season of points, not winning in playoffs, because you can wreck 25 consecutive races, win Daytona in the last race of the regular season, and be in the playoffs. Does that make any sense? No. But just imagine getting in that kind of a hole. 36 race standings, no playoffs, no bonus points, go back to the Winston format. How would that play out with this schedule? Because you do have those back-to-back draft track races. And there were a lot of guys that got into some trouble, especially on the backstretch coming to 5 to go. The first Atlanta race last year was won by a Ford, and I've been saying that I think Fords are going to perform pretty good this year. It was Joey Logano who took the checkered flag. And in the second race at Atlanta, it was our 500 champion William Byron. And we just heard from William Byron about how things have been clicking for him at Atlanta. He did get the win in that race last year. That was a late July race, or early July race, I should say. But Atlanta this weekend is a triple header. So starting on Friday, we have some qualifying. The Truck Series and the Xfinity Series will be qualifying. Saturday, Cup qualifies early, 11:30 a.m., Then we have a truck race at 2 o'clock and Xfinity at 5 o'clock. I like that 5 o'clock start. I hope the race, how do I say this? Let's get one red flag early for like a small drizzle and then have another day to night race. Because those, starting in the day, ending in the night, are some of the most beautiful races. Like just looking at the track and seeing it. It's beautiful. Then on Sunday, the big show, 3 o'clock, the Ambetter Health 400 from Atlanta. We'll have it right here for you on WSIC. PRN on the call for that one. One more segment to go on this Thursday, getting you ready for everything coming up in the world of sports tomorrow and over the weekend. When we return, a little NHL talk. Carolina Hurricanes are playing, and then we'll see what we end it with. I'm not too sure what I want to pull from here. I got a few stories that I could go to, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel. You're listening to The Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 gets you into the studio, be a part of the program. Don't go anywhere. We have one more segment before we end for the day. We're back right after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the clouds continue to thicken up as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures will only dip down to around 50 overnight, but we do have our rain chances going up with scattered rain likely through the overnight hours and into the first part of the day on Friday. Friday, though, still comfortable temperature-wise in the low 60s, but that chilly weather starts to arrive as we get into the upcoming weekend. Scattered clouds and even a sprinkle or a shower to start the weekend on Saturday. Drier in 50s on Sunday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. MuralFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at muralfest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Downtown Mooresville's Shamrocks and Shenanigans is on its way. St. Patty's Day is right around the corner. The festival is happening in downtown Mooresville. Attendance is free, but there are ticket packages available for purchase. Irish dancers, pipe bands, food and drinks. March 16th, downtown Mooresville. Shamrocks and Shenanigans is on its way. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each gives you your chance to win the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Want to see a Tyrannosaurus Rex? How about a Triceratops? Dinosaur World Live is coming to Kane Center for the Arts Friday, March 29th. That's not the only fun family adventure coming to Kane Center for the Arts. Dinosaur World Live, Friday, March 29th. For tickets and to see the entire spring lineup, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Make your work easier with Eagle Rentals of Troutman and Statesville. Eagle Rentals has generators, heaters, fans, painting equipment, floor care equipment, pressure washers, lighting equipment, and lawn care equipment. Plus, Eagle Rentals has construction equipment like forklifts, bobcat loaders, backhoes, excavators, and more. Reserve online at eaglerentals.com. That's eaglerentals.com.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Final segment of the Scoreboard here on this Thursday. I guess it's a special Thursday now. Let's see. Thursday, February 22nd. For the first time in 50 years, the U.S. has landed on the moon. How about that? Odysseus, I believe is the pronunciation of that one. Landing on the moon. That was like 10 minutes ago. Live during the Scoreboard. Love to see it. Yay! We're on the moon. Congratulations. I don't know why, but there are people a lot smarter than me. Anyway, speaking of 50 years ago, let's see, 44 years ago, there was quite a moment in sports history that went on. I'll have that a little later for you towards the end of the show today. This day in sports history. Got a few good things for you, actually. And if you have something for this day in sports history, call me up. 844-STUDIO-4. See a comment here, college football 5-1 playoff format. Thoughts on that? We did talk about that the other day, how there is, with the Pac-12 now finally saying, okay, fine, we'll sign this adjusted agreement. It was going to be 6+6. Then the Pac-12 fell apart, 5+7. Look, they're not saying it, but it's still Power 4 now, and then Group of 5, and I don't know how you rank the Pac-12 anymore, what you consider them, because the top 4 get a bye, but then that 5th-ranked school who wins their conference, the number 5 team rankings-wise to win a conference is probably going to be from the Group of 5. They don't even get to be the 5th-ranked team, so they're still trying to keep the good teams together and give hope to others, which is fine. But as I said at the end of last football season, we're just going to start talking about the rankings and people deciding who gets ranked where, just at a different cutoff line. The conversation is going to change, but it's only going to change from who should be ranked 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th to who should be ranked 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, wherever it ends up falling. We're getting closer to that not mattering one day. One day it won't matter, but we'll see what happens. I mean, the Pac-12 kind of threw everything for a loop with them falling apart, but they got it figured out. This is all money grab, They had the contract. It's $1.3 billion per year for ESPN through, 2035? All about money. All about the money. But the money also is going to lead to good football and more drama. So, I'm okay with it. It is what it is. The Carolina Hurricanes in action tonight. They are taking on the Florida Panthers. And as I said earlier, Florida Panthers, they did boot them from the playoffs last year in the conference championship, conference finals. Got swept. Haven't won a conference final game the last 3 times we've been there. So I guess a little bit of sweet revenge for the Hurricanes. It could be in store tonight. This game is at home. On Monday, they played at home after a 3-game West Coast road trip, which we talked about, where they went 2-1 during that road trip, by the way. So it wasn't terrible. They weren't the best road team throughout the year, but we'll take it going all the way out to the West Coast. Beat the Blackhawks on Monday. Today they play the Florida Panthers. And on Saturday, they'll also be home against the Dallas Stars. They lost to the Stars earlier last week, but that game was in Dallas. This one's going to be here in Raleigh. When we look at the standings in the NHL, Hurricanes are in a better spot. And I've been talking about it for a while. We needed to get some wins. We needed to get some separation in the standings. Starting to do it. 4 points separates them and the third place team in the Metro, that being the Flyers. And they're 6 points behind the Rangers, who are the hottest team in the NHL right now. 8-game winning streak after their January was kind of flat, and they gave up ground to the Hurricanes during January. But now in February, Rangers are clicking on all 4 cylinders, and that's, unexpected in my opinion, because they lost quite a few players so far to injury, one of them for the year. So for the Hurricanes, even staying healthy as they are, I know we were missing Svechnikov earlier in the year, but they're looking good. They're 8-2 in their last 10, so you can't really complain too much. They're still hot. It's just that the Rangers are on kind of run that the Oilers were on earlier in the year, where they won, 14, 15, 16? I forget however many it was in a row, but that's where we stand in the NHL. Let's talk about the NBA because we do have games tonight, and we are back from the All-Star break. Had a few games anyway. Tonight, the Hornets are on the road in Utah. I don't know how many of you guys listening are going to stay up until 9 o'clock to watch the Hornets lose, but tip-off for that game, 9 o'clock. Hornets have been doing better as of late, I guess. They got a 3-game winning streak going on right now. They're up to 13 wins, and look, hey, keep winning. Anything's possible. Well, not anything. They're still 11 games back from that final play-in spot, but hey, like I said, anything's possible. And just to recap, we only touched on it, but the first MLB spring training game was today. The Dodgers beat the Padres 14-1, scoring 8 in the first inning. Tomorrow we got a lot of games in store. Royals play the World Series champion Rangers. The White Sox play the Cubs. Dodgers and Padres go back at it again. Diamondbacks take on the Rockies. The Huskies are playing the Red Sox, and the Golden Gophers are playing the Twins. I think those are a couple of exhibition games, not really technically spring training games. But that's the slate for tomorrow. All teams reporting to spring training. We're going to have a regular season game, 2 of them actually over in South Korea before actual opening day. So I will make sure you guys are aware when that's taking place, because if you want to tune into baseball, you should probably know when they're going to be playing. Okay, a few things here on my list for this day in sports history. This day, 1959, Lee Petty and Johnny Beauchamp crossed the finish line side by side in the inaugural Daytona 500. Beauchamp was declared the unofficial winner. Ruling was overturned 3 days later by NASCAR founder Bill France Sr. That is the infamous 3-wide finish. One of those cars being a lap down, and the photo, which I think is kind of where we get photo finish from, of them at the line is what ended up overturning that race. So that was on this day in 1959. Also on this day in 1959, in 1980, do you believe in miracles? Yep, that's right. Miracle on Ice, the U.S. hockey team beats heavily favored Soviet Union 4-3 in Lake Placid in one of the biggest upsets in Olympic history. The American team would go on to win the gold. And just as a reminder, that wasn't the gold medal game. They had to go win the gold. And that was, I believe, the semifinal game. But yeah, the U.S. ended up winning gold in that season. And then the most recent time that we played the Russians in the Olympics was during the Sochi Olympics. And I don't know if it was on this day or if it was a couple of days ago, but it was right around this time in 2014, TJ Oshie went 6 of 8 in the shootout and won the U.S. The game against the Russians in overtime, in a shootout, because in international hockey, you don't play continuous overtime. You go to a shootout. That was also pretty close to this day in 2014. Let's see. Do we have one more before we end the show for today? Any good ones? Yeah. There's nothing that important in my opinion. Land speed record was set in 1933. Malcolm Campbell set a world land speed record of 272 miles per hour driving a Bluebird car at Daytona Beach, Florida. There you go. That's your last one on this day in sports history. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. Had a great time, as always, here on the Scoreboard. Tomorrow is Friday. Last day of the week. We're going to get you prepared for everything going on over the weekend, including NASCAR, college basketball, college other sports. We got everything going on except for football. Although, coming up, spring football, the United Football League. I want to hear from you guys. Probably in the next week we'll talk about this. Are we excited for spring football, the United Football League? Are you going to watch? I'm going to be curious to see how they do. Anyway, thanks for joining me here today on the Scoreboard. Everybody have a lovely night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, have a good one, everyone.